Hello everyone. So today we're going to discuss all the possible questions that could appear from the story The Midnight Visitor. So this is going to be a thorough revision of the entire story because I have tried to add as many questions as possible. So make sure you watch this video until the end. So let's begin. Okay, the first question. What was the profession of Fowler? Is it A, he was a writer, B, he was a secret agent, C, he was a detective, or D, he was an actor? So what was the profession of Fowler? He was a writer. Yes. Okay, moving to the next one. Why was Fowler let down? What did he expect? A. He expected espionage and danger. B. He expected the crack of pistols. C. He expected drugs in wine. D. They were in a gloomy hotel. The room was scarcely a setting for romantic adventure. So why was he let down? He was let down because he expected espionage, that is spying and danger. He expected the crack of pistols. He expected drugs and wine. He also expected some form of excitement. But he was let down because the room was scarcely a setting for romantic adventure. So it is all of the given options. He was let down because of all of these. So even if you get a question saying why was Fowler let down, so you can write these answers. Fowler was let down because he expected all of these and also because they were in a gloomy hotel and the room was scarcely a setting for a romantic adventure. Okay. How was Oswald different from other agents? So how was he different? Oswald was fat, very fat. And even though he passably spoke French and German, he did not completely lose out on his American accent, even if he had come from Paris 20 years ago. So, from Boston, he had come to Paris 20 years ago, but still he had not completely lost out on the American accent and he only passably spoke French and German. Okay, next one. How did Fowler expect the day to go and how did it really go? Okay, so first let's write about what Fowler expected. Fowler expected messages to be slipped into Oswald's hand by dark-eyed beauties. But in reality, what happened? In reality, they spent a dull evening in a French music hall and they only get an ordinary phone call making an appointment to his room. So in the passage, it is written prosaic. So prosaic means ordinary. So they only get a prosaic phone call making an appointment to the room. So we get to know that Fowler is reasonably frustrated because the day had not turned out how he expected. Next question. What was the first authentic thrill of the day for Fowler? So when they switched on the light in the room, halfway across it stood a man holding a small automatic pistol. So that was his first authentic thrill of the day. Next, why had Max come to Oswald's room? Is it A, to discuss about the new report, B, to take the report from him, C, to kill Oswald due to their enmity, or D, to have a friendly chat? So Max is the third person who enters and his features are suggested to be crafty. Crafty means sly, cunning. And it is said that he had features like that of a fox, if you remember from the story. So why had Max come to Oswald's room? It is B, to take the report from him. Yes. Next one. What is the meaning of raise the devil in the sentence? I am going to raise the devil with the management this time and you can bet on it. So, raise the devil is an idiom. So, what does that mean? A, involve as many people as possible. B, get him replaced as soon as possible. C, show everyone his true face. Or D, create a commotion or a protest. So, what is the meaning of raise the devil? It means create a commotion or protest. So, if you remember in the story, Osable says that he is going to raise the devil with the management. Why does he say that? Because he says that this is the second time in the month that somebody had got into the room through the nuisance of the balcony. Okay. Next one. How did Max enter the room? Is it A, through the window, B, through a balcony, C, with the pass key, or D, pretending to be a waiter? So Max entered the room with the help of a pass key. Yes. Osable asked him, did you enter through the balcony? And he's like, no, I wish I knew that, but I had used a pass key. Again, next one. What story did Osable make about the balcony outside his room? So what was the story that he made? Osable told Max that the balcony belongs to the next apartment. And this room was actually part of a large unit before. And the next room used to be the living room. So the balcony extends under his window now. As the room at present was actually part of a living room. So the balcony still extends under their room now. Therefore, it is possible to get onto the balcony from the empty room 2 doors down. So this is what Osable tells them about the balcony outside. Okay, next one. Who did Osable say was at the door? A, the waiter, B, the police, C, the backup team, or D, the secret agent. So Osable says that it was the police at the door. Why did Osable say that he called the police? So Osable told Max that since they were waiting for such an important paper, it should have extra protection. Okay, next one. Why did Max jump onto the balcony when he heard that the police were at the door? So why did Max jump onto the balcony? Max was nervous when Osable told him that if he doesn't answer the door, he means here if Osable doesn't answer the door, they will enter anyway as the door is unlocked and they will not hesitate to shoot. So when he heard that, he became nervous and he decided to jump onto the balcony that was mentioned by Osable. But who was really at the door? Is it A, the person with the important paper, B, the owner of the hotel, C, a waiter, or D, another spy agent? So we all know that it was a waiter who was really at the door. Yes. Okay, next question. Why won't the man out on the balcony return? The man on the balcony will not return as there was no balcony in the first place. So the person fell from the 6th floor, which was the topmost floor. If you remember in the beginning of the story, they mentioned that the room was on the 6th floor, which was the topmost floor. Who was Osable expecting while the important paper was being delivered? So when they had returned to the hotel, the secret agent, who's the secret agent here, Osable, had ordered a drink to be served at the room. Therefore, he was expecting Henry the waiter to bring the drinks. So he was actually expecting the waiter to bring the drinks. Next one. What words in the story show that the other spy agent Max had fallen and died? So as the man jumped out of the window, he screamed once shrilly. So he only screamed once and shrilly because that is when he realized that there is no balcony and he fell from the sixth floor. So this indicates that he fell from the height and died. In the beginning of the story, Fowler was quite disappointed as the day turned out to be dull. But did his opinion change towards the end of that night? Yes, definitely. Though the evening started on a dull note, it turned out to be interesting for the writer as it involved mysterious figures in the night, yes, pistols, and the pride of police barging in. Barging is entering in. So because of all of these instances that took place, it turned out to be quite interesting. What did Ausable tell about the paper to Fowler? So if you remember, in the beginning of the story, Fowler was quite frustrated because it turned out to be a dull and boring day. But Ausable tells him, you are disillusioned, because they were actually waiting for an important paper for which several men and women have risked their lives so that it could come to him. And soon, someday, the paper might affect the course of history. So that is what he tells Fowler about the contents of the paper. Coming to the last question. What was the report concerning that was being brought tonight? So was the report concerning secret files of another country, some new missiles, see war information, or classified information of their enemy? So the report is concerning some new missiles. If you can recall from the story, Max tells them that the secret report that you are getting is concerning some new missiles and I would take it from you because it would be safer in my hands than in yours. So he had come to take the secret report from him. Okay, and that's the end of all the questions. I hope you're thorough with the story. So no matter what question appears from the story, you will be able to answer it. If you like this video, please share it among your friends and let everybody know so all of them can score good marks. All the very best. God bless.